So I'm Richard Alley. I'm a professor at Penn State. My specialty is ice and climate, and I'm trained as a geologist, and I love working in interesting and pretty places.
So what interests you about working in Antarctica?
The research in Antarctica has several aspects that are just outstanding. Some of them are purely self-serving. We have built a lot of very valuable things very close to sea level, and there's a huge amount of ice in Antarctica that if it melts is going to flood things that we really care about, and we're trying to find out what is possible, what will happen depending on what choices we make and where to go. So there's some of this self-serving stuff. There are histories of climate in the ice in Antarctica that tell us how the world works and will improve our ability to forecast the future. There are other things that are potentially of commercial value, potentially of societal value. Work in Antarctica helps people at home, it helps people everywhere.
It's a very difficult environment to work in. It's very expensive to do research in Antarctica. How can that expense be justified? What does it offer that you can't do anywhere else?
Yep. So I really do believe that the research here pays for itself and more. In the climate records, we can get good records in Greenland, but in many ways the best ones are Antarctic. And if we stayed away from Antarctica, we simply don't have that knowledge. Now, when we look at the future, we base it on history. We would not want to open a new business in a country that we didn't know their history, who they were and where they came from. We would not want to go into a military engagement in another country if we didn't know the history. We are engaging the Earth's environment, we are engaging the climate, and that history is just essential, and you can't get it anywhere except Antarctica. I really do think that across the board, the different things we do here and the different things we learn pay a dividend to the folks at home.
One of the things that I've enjoyed listening to you on the ship the last few days is you've opened my eyes to just how much there is to be learned from ice and glaciers. Some of that couldn't have been predicted, presumably, when you first went into this field. Presumably you thought it was a great field then, but it's presumably expanded even more, and you've realized you can get even more from it.
Oh yes, it's expanding so fast, and every major expedition of research that goes down now comes back with something we didn't know before. And that is worrisome, because in terms of predicting the future of the ice sheet, if we're still learning fundamental things, we obviously don't know it all. But it's just, as a scientist, it's a playground. We love finding out what's new. I love seeing what we didn't get before. And it's just, we're drinking out of a fire hose still. It's just so much information coming out so fast. As we get better instruments, we get better access, we're seeing things we simply did not suspect.
Yeah. I mean, it's been very interesting in the question and answers after some of your lectures that you've been asked questions and you've said, well, 5 years ago I wouldn't have had an answer for that. But in the last 5 years we've found out more, and now we have a better understanding. It's clearly a very fast evolving field, as well as a widening field.
Oh, absolutely. It is going really fast. It is broadening immensely. Good people are working, people around the world. It's a highly international field.
So if by some hypothetical reason Antarctica was not physically accessible to people on Earth, if there was some barrier that stopped us travelling to Antarctica, you think that would seriously impact on our understanding on the planet?
Yeah, I really do think that if we lose access to the continent and the oceans around it, that we lose understanding.
Thank you very much, Professor Richard Alley.
Well, thank you, David.